Hello and welcome. Now I have found some photos of my old teenage bedroom when I was back in high school, still living in Australia, and I was really shocked at the difference of the way I used to live my lifestyle then to the way I live it now. And I thought it could be really interesting to share these photos with you and talk about it because yeah, I've been sharing my journey of like my minimalist journey and my zero waste journey and just being more financially aware and working with money, and also like sleeping on the floor. I would have never done that at the age of 16 and 17, and I think it's always interesting to remember where we come from and how much we've done and how much we've changed since then, and it could be like a really big motivator. So yeah, I will just share with you the photos. I'll put them up on top of the video so you can see what I'm talking about, and I don't know, we'll see what we come to as we'll talk about the photos. So the first photo I have is this massive panorama of my room. So I would have been like 16, 17 at this time, and you can just see how much stuff is in that room. Now I used to have quite a big room, but I filled it with a queen size bed and loads of furniture and loads of storage spaces to put all my stuff, so the room actually felt really small most of the time. And yeah, I mean, if we start over on like the left hand side, there's like a bookshelf that is full of magazines, which I used to never have that bookshelf, and then my magazine collection got so big that I needed somewhere to put all my magazines. And then I have like a massive queen size bed. I have a bedside table that was probably full of things as well. There's a fan in there, and you can see like over on sort of towards the right hand side, that corner that is completely full of all my photos and photography. There's a massive map of the world on the wall. I pretty much had no spare space on the wall. I filled it with lots of things. And then you can see my desk, it's the sort of like half of my desk on the right hand side that has all my like books, and you can see on top of the books there's loads of little trinkets and jewelry and all kinds of things. So yeah, that was my room. I must have been 16 or 17 at that time, but you can just see how much stuff is in there. And then this is kind of like a closer photo of sort of the corner of my room. You can see the bed. I used to probably come home from school and just throw all my school stuff on my bed, and then in the corner you can see like all of those photos and images. And my room had lots of changes and progressions because I used to get to a point where I felt my room was so overwhelming and really like uncomfortable, so then I would move all the furniture around, move all the stuff around. So you can see that bookcase that was over on next to my bed and my bedside table is now like at the end of my bed, and now it's even more full with magazines. And I used to spend hours and hours of time like cleaning and organizing and moving things around, and it just used to take forever because I just had so much stuff to move when I decided to move my room around. Yeah, so you can see that wall is completely packed full of images, and you can see some of my desk and kind of how messy it is and disorganized. And then this is like another closer images of my desk. So this is like a full one, and you can see up the top all of the books and all the little trinkets, and then you can see like how many notebooks, and like every little inch of my desk is like packed with things. And this must have been like a day when I cleaned my desk, and I was really proud of it because usually there was no surface space because my desk was more of a storage space. I never really did any study there because it was always so full. And then you can see like another photo of like up the top where I had my books in rainbow order. You can see on the left hand side like all those notebooks were completely empty. I loved buying stationery. I had like a stationery obsession and constantly bought lots of brand new stationery, and I had loads of pens and pencils like all up in my desk. You can see all these little pencil cases and like tins full of pencils and pens. And then yeah, I had a pretty basic like $40 desk chair that I really liked. Oh no, I didn't really like it. I was like fine, it was normal, but I really didn't like it for some reason because I think it was the color blue and I wanted a different one. So I went and spent like $200 on this massive red chair that took up even more space in my tiny little room, and you can kind of see the desk behind it, and you know, it's a bit messy. And then I have this other photo of my desk that I found where there's just like the way it usually looked, like piled up with random stuff that I was probably working on, or I just used it as like a storage space. And you can see at the bottom of that photo like all those notebooks at the very bottom were just completely empty, and they were all beautiful brand new notebooks. I don't think I ever once finished a notebook or like a school book all the way through, and I would always just start a new one, and yeah, I never really like appreciated it or finished it. So in talking about my stationery collection and obsession, and I used to buy a lot, and my theory is why I used to buy a lot of stationery is I really struggled in school, and I always thought if I had the right stationery and the right utensils, then it would be easier and I wouldn't struggle so much. But I was dyslexic and I was always going to struggle. But before my final 2 years of school, I went shopping and I was like, I'm going to do really well for my final 2 years. I'm going to smash it out. I'm going to study for hours every night, and I'm going to need all these right things so that I can do that. So I went and bought this massive stationery haul. I think I spent probably like $400, $500 maybe, and you can see how many like binder folders I have. I didn't even take that many subjects, but I had that many folders. I had loads of pens and pencils. I bought highlighters. I bought like 2 packs of the same colored pencils twice. Like, who needs that many colored pencils? I brought, yeah, loads of notebooks. I mean, you can see what's in that picture, and it was just absolutely ridiculous because I hardly used any of that through my final years of high school because I struggled so much and I wanted to drop out. I even had to get like a reader and writer for my exams because otherwise I probably wouldn't have passed. So yeah, I just spent like a ridiculous amount of money on stationery things. So then I tried to find some photos of my closet so you could see what that was like, because I also bought quite a lot of clothes, probably not as much as I bought stationery. And you can see like this is a dark photo, probably took it at the night time, but you can see, yeah, my closet is completely packed full of things. And then I ran out of room in my bedroom for my chest of drawers, so I actually had to put that into my closet because I bought that bookshelf just to store all my magazines. So then that had to go into the closet because I ran out of space. And you can see up the top of the closet, like it's just completely packed. And then this is a really ridiculous photo that I probably took on before going on a night out, but you can see behind me the closet and like how full it is, and that top shelf is completely packed. And those binders that I bought for my final years of high school went up into the closet and never got filled, and I never put any of those plastic sheets in it, and I never used them for 2 years of high school. But I thought it was necessary for me to go and buy them, which is just, yeah, it's just really crazy to see. I don't know how much money I spent on stuff. So then I tried to find some photos even further back. Like once I found these, I just kept going back and back trying to find some of how my room used to look like a really long time ago, and I found this one from probably when I was like 13 or 14, and my friend took it in black and white with like this blue thing. But you can see I had a single bed back then, so there was a lot more space in the room. I had less furniture, but it was like still a total mess. Like I always just had a really messy room, and I still do have a messy room even though I have a lot less stuff, but it's just much easier to maintain and I can put things away a lot quicker. So you can kind of see the stuff that I had there. And then yeah, I had that desk that I begged my mum for, and I wanted one. I used to have just like a plain simple desktop, which I have now, but it wasn't, I wanted one with all these shelves and all that like stuff around so I could fit all my things in the shelving space. So that was the room at the very beginning. And then I went and got the queen size bed to put into my bedroom, which took up so much space. And you can kind of see here in the beginning, you can also see like how that wall barely has any photos on it to the way it used to be when the first photos I showed you. And yeah, that was my queen size bed when I first got it. And I've also, like, looking at these photos, I've just realized how many different kinds of bedding I had. Like I probably had 5 or 6 different kinds of different bed linen that I changed out, which is just ridiculous. Now I only have one, and I only want one because you just wash it and you dry it the same day and then you can put it on your bed. So yeah, that's another thing. And then you can see this bookcase full of magazines and then all the stuff that was stored there. So this is probably when I first got the bookcase, and you can see like that big corkboard full of photos that I took. Yeah, and then that's the desk in the room, and you can see the progression, like my photo, like the books I used to have on the top of my desk. And the first photos were like all these vintage rainbow copies, all in rainbow order. And then this photo, you can see like my Twilight books and my Harry Potter books. I used to be like a massive Twilight fan. But yeah, the desk was essentially a storage zone. It wasn't actually a functional space. I did all my study on my bed. Yeah, so like that is all the photos that I found, and I was really shocked because I just realized how much money I spent on all these things that I had that I barely used because I had so many, so I couldn't use all of them at once anyway. And I had like a massive thing for magazines. I would spend probably like $100 a month on fashion magazines. And yeah, it's crazy to think about how much I spent. And I guess what was the main catalyst for me to like minimize things down from this point was I decided after high school to move to London, and I only had 2 suitcases, so I had to pack everything down into suitcases. And I remember it was so stressful and so overwhelming. I actually had like several weeks where I couldn't get out of bed because I got really unwell, and I think it was because I was having to go through all this stuff, and I just felt so overwhelmed and so anxious about having to organize it all and figure out what was I going to move with me overseas. And yeah, then when I moved to London, I had these 2 suitcases, and I still collected a lot of stuff when I got to London, like not as much at all, but I kind of got there, and then I bought quite a few things for my room. I bought a mattress and all these things. I'll see if I can find a photo of that bedroom. But yeah, I then discovered the zero waste movement while I was there, and because I wasn't quite educated enough when I got involved in the zero waste, trying to live more zero waste, I went out and bought loads and loads of Kilner mason jars and lots of different things to use to live more waste free, but it's actually not what I would do if I was starting zero waste now. I wouldn't do what I did then. And so then I collected all these jars and lots of stuff like that to live my zero waste life. And then I decided to leave London, and so I had all these mason jars and like these really beautiful like $8 pounds, so like $18 or $16 per jar, and I just had to leave them in England because I couldn't bring them with me. And I bought lots of clothes when I went to London as well, and I had to leave them all there. So yeah, then I moved from London, and I then visited America. I went back to Australia, came back to America, and then yeah, coming back here I still had those 2 suitcases. And then since being here, I've slowly discovered minimalism, and I started minimizing things down even more and sort of like working with the KonMari method a little bit. But like the amount things have changed. I now only have 1 suitcase. I probably have more stuff than 1 suitcase, but when I am to leave America, I will leave more things leave more things behind here as well. And I don't feel so attached to stuff now. You know, if I am having to up and leave tomorrow, I could leave a lot of this stuff behind with me. It wouldn't be as intense as it was when I was like 18 moving to London. I was just so overwhelmed by having to downsize everything. And yeah, it's crazy how different I perceive things when it comes to waste and what is wasteful, how I perceive things when it comes to what is really necessary, what is really going to add value, what is really important, what can I actually do without. And when it comes to spending money, like I'm really not trying to spend any money at all. So I only buy something if it's really necessary. So it's just really interesting to see the progression of how things have changed. And to even go to sleeping on the floor, I would have never considered doing that even like 2 years ago or a year ago, because I didn't even know it was a thing. So yeah, I don't know. I grew up in a middle-class family. We were pretty well off. I never had to worry about money, but I never learned the true value of it. When I started working, I learned a little bit more of like, what does it actually cost to buy all these things that I want? And yeah, but now living the way I do on a stipend check, I've learned even more the value of money. And it's not that I don't have money, I just choose not to spend it on frugalous, unnecessary things. It's just not important. It's not going to add value to my life, and it's not going to help me do the things that I really love. So anyway, this is going on long enough, this video, but please share with me your stories. Like, where have you come from? How much has things changed for you? I would really appreciate hearing your stories. If you find old photos or something like that, I don't know if you could send them to me, but it'd just be interesting to see other people's journey, because it's been really crazy for me, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Share with me your stories in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye!